On MasterChef, contestants pushed their cooking skills to the limit, trying to impress some of the best chefs in the world. Over the years, we've seen dishes that wowed the judges, leaving them speechless with amazement and joy. These dishes had amazing flavors and perfect presentation, setting a high standard for everyone else. But not all dishes have the same effect. Some creations also left the judges speechless, but for the wrong reasons.
I'm making baked macaroni and cheese with a major twist.
And what's the twist?
Breast milk.
True. The only problem is that you can't serve a dish like this the way it looks.
Join us as we look at the most unforgettable MasterChef dishes that left the judges without words, both in good ways and bad. The audition I'm talking about was particularly interesting because of the strange dishes and people. Season 4 of this show had many weird moments, but one day was more surprising than the rest. Here's why. But this contestant topped that. You wouldn't guess what she was about to do just by looking at her. She came in with a big pink bow on her head, looking cheerful and innocent. She presented a simple dish, a piece of toast. But she hinted that there was a big twist, which made everyone curious.
Baked macaroni and cheese with a major twist.
And what's the twist?
Breast milk.
Same. When asked about the twist, she revealed that the secret ingredient was breast milk. The timing of her reveal was perfect. Just as she said it, this is how Chef Ramsay and the judges reacted.
Milk.
Their faces showed a mix of disbelief and humor, making it one of the funniest moments of the season.
One quick shot to the head and they're gone.
This incident made me curious about using breast milk in cooking. This is what Reddit says about what people thought about it, and to my surprise, breast milk dishes are actually a thing. The reactions range from shock and laughter to genuine interest. Some people shared stories of trying breast milk differently, while others talked about the health and ethical issues of using it as an ingredient. Another person mentioned making ice cream at home with breast milk, saying it was surprisingly creamy and slightly sweet. The cultural views note that breast milk is a regular part of the diet in some places, usually for babies. The idea of adults eating it, especially in fancy dishes, was what made it so controversial and interesting. Many agreed that while the idea was strange, it wasn't necessarily harmful or wrong as long as it was safely and willingly provided. So was the case in this special video with Alex, James, and Gordon.
You once drank your wife's breast milk.
I did.
In the end, using breast milk in cooking is still rare and seen as strange by most people. This audition made it a hot topic in a funny and memorable way, challenging what we think is normal in cooking.
Less fat, more protein. It's got to be better for you than cow.
The contestants' bold choice entertained everyone and started a wider conversation about creativity and limits in food. It showed how reality TV can surprise and engage us, making us think differently. During the Desert Mystery Box Challenge, she revealed something that left Chef Ramsay stunned.
Nervous. I don't bake, Chef.
You've never baked? Mum of 4? Really?
Yeah, turns out it was her first time baking. Not surprising why when her lemon tarts came out, things took a sour turn. Literally.
Lemon tart with lavender.
Oh, and he decided to give her a reality check for good measure.
Struggling to understand where we can go with you because I don't think there's much potential.
And when Graham got a taste, he nearly chipped a tooth on those rock-hard pastries.
But to win the competition, you need to be able to come in and understand whether it's dessert or fish, how to still step up and make it happen.
Long story short, Astrid found herself in the dreaded bottom 2, standing alongside Cutter. And if you know anything about Cutter, you know how bad a look that is.
Whose journey will continue in MasterChef is Cutter.
It certainly sounded like the judges had absolutely no hope for her, and in turn, Chef Ramsay the exit comment short and sweet.
Astrid, you may have the passion, we don't feel the desire. Please, take your apron off and leave the MasterChef kitchen.
But hey, at least she owned up to her baking blunder and vowed to practice like a pro for next time.
The day, I understand. I own it. Maybe I should have read some more recipes and practice baking because that is my weakness.
Not that there was gonna be one for her, but here comes one of the most careless contestants on the show. So Tyler was all set to give his best, but something really unfortunate happened.
30, top 20, and now the top 16. It's an incredible feeling. I'm a country boy.
Wait, was a home cook caught cheating in the MasterChef kitchen? What a shameless act. But was it cheating or an honest mistake? Let's dive into it. So Tyler was getting everything ready for his dish, and it looked like he was doing pretty good, honestly.
In there and at least gave it enough time to set nicely.
However, things took a really dramatic turn. Suddenly, there was a serious incident and everyone's attention shifted to Tyler. He had served a dish that wasn't his own. Can you believe it? He presented Jamie's panna cotta to the judges, claiming it as his own. Jamie had carefully prepared 3 perfect panna cottas and stored them in the fridge. But when she went to retrieve them, she found only 2 remaining. She was understandably confused and upset, wondering what had happened to her 3rd panna cotta.
I don't know if somebody took it or on accident or is trying to sabotage me.
But we already knew who was responsible, didn't we? Whether it was an accidental mix-up or a deliberate act, it was a colossal mistake on Tyler's part.
3 blindfolds.
Blindfolds.
This was unprecedented in the history of the show. As Chef Ramsay pointed out, it was the first time something so significant had happened.
Did not cook.
What do you mean, Chef?
Stay there.
Chef Ramsay quickly made his way to the fridge to investigate. Tyler stood there, completely baffled, not understanding the gravity of the situation.
What do you see on that tray, young man?
My ramekins.
Your ramekins.
Yes, Chef. I put my ramekins on the top shelf.
It was a truly embarrassing moment for him to be exposed like that right in front of everyone.
You didn't. They're on the bottom shelf, bottom left-hand side.
You put 4 ramekins in the blast chiller.
The judges couldn't ignore the fact that Tyler had presented someone else's dish as his own. They needed to discuss the matter thoroughly before deciding on the appropriate action.
Need a few seconds to catch up. Stay there.
Ultimately, Tyler was disqualified from the competition. It was a harsh outcome, but fairness had to prevail. Before leaving the MasterChef kitchen, Tyler had a few words to say, expressing his regret and explaining his side of the story.
I'm sorry. I had no intent on doing that.
No, I'm sorry that you grabbed mine.
So, what do you think? Was Tyler being honest? While you think about that, let's not forget that there have been times when chefs didn't make a good first impression, but eventually ended up sweeping the judges off their feet. Like in this next episode of MasterChef Australia, when contestants were asked to create a gourmet dessert, and guess who will be judging the desserts? Marco Pierre White, a total legend in the culinary world. When he showed up as a guest judge on MasterChef Australia, it was a big deal. The contestants were freaking out, feeling the heat, and the whole vibe got way more intense and exciting.
Do you want to go home? No, then watch me.
It was nerve-wracking and exhilarating for the competitors to know they had to present their meals to such a prominent chef. Creating a dessert that would wow a man who has experienced only the best in the food industry was not going to be an easy task. Well, it was a do-or-die moment for our contestants. As they hustled hard in the kitchen, you could cut the tension with a knife. But this time, it was the final showdown, and only a few would get the chance to lay their creations in front of Marco freaking Pierre White.
The last dish we'd like to taste.
The suspense was off the charts when the judges started picking dishes to taste one by one. Now, let's check out which contestant got a shot to redeem himself.
Belongs to Charlie.
Charlie had barely dodged elimination the previous week. Now, it was his chance to prove he had what it takes with an easy-looking dessert.
Is a honey semifreddo, lemon crumb, candied lemon, and a lemon and honey caramel.
Everyone was curious to see how his dessert would fare given his recent brush with elimination. As the judges dug into Charlie's dish, everyone was waiting for them to drop some expression. And what do you know, they were at a loss for words. The silence spoke volumes. But here's what actually unfolded. Marco Pierre White, known for his candid and often critical feedback, was the first to break the silence. He began to speak, and his words were nothing short of glowing.
The greatest dessert I've ever eaten in MasterChef.
Charlie's dessert got some wild reviews from Marco. He straight up called it one of the sickest desserts he'd ever tasted, which is like the ultimate shout out coming from a big shot like him. Man, it was a real moment of applause. The other judges were all nodding in agreement, totally matching Marco's sentiments. They were seriously blown away by Charlie's creation, not just clapping for the dessert, but also for Charlie's epic comeback.
If I went to a Michelin-starred restaurant today and ate that, I wouldn't question it.
For Charlie to go from almost getting the axe to getting big-time acknowledgement from one of the world's most respected chefs was a real shocker. Charlie was over the moon. And why would he not be? Getting those rave reviews from Marco Pierre White was like hitting the jackpot for him. It was like all his blood, sweat, and tears in the kitchen finally paid off big time.
The smoothness, the balance of honey and lemon, the crunch.
The judges' props and the crowd going wild were solid proof of his skills and grit. It was a major victory, a moment he'd be remembering for years to come.
Thank you so much.
I've got nothing to say. Really. Yeah, I've got nothing to say either. How can you finish on that? That's amazing.
The episode was a real boost and inspiration for Charlie. His journey from almost getting kicked out to culinary greatness was a reminder that you gotta keep grinding and stay passionate in the kitchen game.
Really, it feels awesome, you know, to be at the bottom of the pack and kind of questioning everything after that first cook.
Marco Pierre White's presence and genuine acknowledgement brought some serious magic to the episode, making it a standout and hella inspiring chapter in MasterChef Australia's history, but especially for Charlie this season.
Words from Marco, it's just, honestly, I can't, nothing to say.
Desserts got this special knack for putting smiles on faces. They bring pure bliss, mostly because we're all about that sweet tooth life. Whipping up desserts is like an art form, and not everyone's got the skills to nail it. On MasterChef Australia, contestants are always tackling tough dessert challenges. There was this one episode where a woman went all out and tried to master a tricky white chocolate panna cotta during her audition.
My name's Zoe, I'm 31 years old and I'm from Melbourne.
This contestant had her family there to support her, which added a touching element to her story. Her grandma, in particular, was always hyping her up. It was amazing to see her family lifting her spirits like this, giving motivation and keeping her updated on the time throughout the process. Well, I've gotta say this, Zoe is one lucky girl.
Today I'm making a white chocolate panna cotta with the raspberry sauce.
This kind of support and hype can seriously amp up someone's morale, especially in a cutthroat competition like this.
Both my grandparents, come on, you can do it, Hadia. My mum and my dad.
Without further ado, let's get into how Zoe makes panna cotta.
You can do it now.
Well, I must say, constant motivation can turn the tables. And the most awaited time arrived, the time for judging the dish.
Oh, she's being careful. What's on there?
What's on there?
Hi.
Zoe was totally jittery, but still rocked some confidence. She knew that win or lose, her fam would have her back and be stoked about her hustle. That tight-knit family vibe was a real highlight of her journey. The moment of truth came when the judges, including Matt, who has a particular fondness for panna cotta, examined her dish. Keep watching to know what happened next.
I just want to see something. That's what I want to see.
The judges checked out her panna cotta real close, using a special trick to see if it was set just right by watching how it jiggled.
That tells me it's not been overset with jalapeno or egg white. It's got some movement, it's got some wobble. That's sexy.
The judges, after taking a bite, were impressed. Let's see what they had to say more about it.
It's definitely a yes from me. It's a beautiful dessert.
She was left speechless, overwhelmed by the positive feedback.
It's an absolute delicious panna cotta. It's one of the best we've had in the competition. I love it. It's a big yes.
George, one of the judges, took it a step further by congratulating her entire family. He invited them into the room, leading to a big round of applause.
She's the best.
Wait and see what Granny did, which created a touching moment that filled the room with warmth and joy. The atmosphere was filled with love and support as her family gathered around her. George's gesture of inviting her family into the room and their collective embrace of the judges highlighted the importance of family in her journey. It was a beautiful moment that showcased the power of family support in achieving one's dreams. Here's what people had to say about this family. This contestant's journey on MasterChef Australia was not just about her cooking skills, but also about the strong bond she shared with her family. Their unwavering support helped her face the challenges and succeed. She earned the coveted white apron, marking the beginning of her path to becoming a master chef. Next up, in this episode of MasterChef Canada, the contestants were given the challenge to mix up cuisines and experiment with different flavors.
I sure am.
I've got a feeling about you that you might pull this out.
You know what, I got to. I just never give up.
So there's this one contestant who decided to tackle the challenge with something kinda wacky, a pina colada semifreddo. Now, let me tell you, this dessert looked pretty funny, not gonna lie. It wasn't exactly winning any beauty contests. But hey, as we all know, looks can be deceiving in the kitchen. Sometimes the ugliest dishes turn out to be the tastiest.
Enough. I'm full of regrets.
My savory dish is a rum-marinated pork taco with a tropical salsa.
The contestant was totally on edge when she handed her dish over to the judges. One of them, picking up on her nervous vibe, straight up asked if she whipped it up at the last minute.
Had to come up with another plan and think really quick and think like a chef. just tough.
She kept it real, owing to the fact that she had to switch things up last minute and whip up something totally different. The judge respected her honesty and got ready to dig into her new creation.
Let's give this a taste.
As the judge slid a spoonful of that semifreddo into his mouth, it was like time froze. The room went dead silent, every eye glued to him. He took his sweet time, savoring every bite, trying to unravel the mystery of those flavors. It felt like forever as we all held our breath, waiting for his verdict. To everyone's shock, the judge was into the dessert. Even though it looked kinda weird, the flavors were all on point, and he dug the whole pina colada vibe of the semifreddo.
You know what, Aprilly? It tastes like a really great tropical ice cream.
He gave appreciation to the contestant for bringing some bold flavors and getting creative with mixing stuff up to make this killer dessert. The way the coconut, pineapple, and rum all came together was straight up fire, making it a total win for that pina colada vibe.
Great, big, punchy flavors. The rum, the coconut, the pineapple, that's all coming through.
However, that's not all that happened. While he enjoyed the flavors, he pointed out that the presentation was a significant issue. The dish's appearance was not appetizing and looked like a whack, which is obviously not appealing to anyone.
The problem is that you can't serve a dish like this the way it looks.
Here's more of what he said.
Behind you, they may have dishes that look nicer than yours, but the taste may not be there.
The judge encouraged her to work on her presentation skills, suggesting that with a better visual appeal, her dish could have been a standout. He explained that in a professional setting, no matter how delicious a dish is, it needs to look good to entice customers and make them want to eat it. The contestant listened carefully, taking in both the praise and the critique. She was relieved that her dessert was well received in terms of flavor, but she also understood the importance of improving her presentation. She thanked the judges for their feedback, determined to do better next time.
Enough. I'm full of regrets.
My savory dish is rum marinated pork.
This episode highlighted the importance of both taste and presentation in cooking. While the contestant's pina colada semifreddo was a hit in terms of flavor, its poor presentation served as a reminder that a dish needs to be visually appealing to be fully appreciated. The judge's feedback was valuable, providing her with insights on how to balance both aspects in her future creations.
Pastry cream is almost completely frozen.
Overall, this episode showcased the creativity and resilience of the contestants, who often have to think on their feet and come up with last-minute solutions. It also demonstrated the supportive yet critical role of the judges in helping contestants grow and improve their skills.
I've got a feeling about you that you might pull this out.
You know what, I got to. I just never give up.
The contestants' journey in this episode was a learning experience, showing that even when things don't go as planned, honesty, creativity, and the willingness to learn from feedback can lead to success. In the end, despite the initial nerves and the less than ideal presentation, the contestant's ability to create a delicious dessert under pressure was commendable. She left the judges' table with valuable lessons and a renewed determination to refine her skills, particularly in making her dishes look as good as they taste. This episode was a testament to the challenges and rewards of culinary innovation and the ongoing journey of mastering the art of cooking. Now, before we wrap things up, here comes one of the most clumsiest people on MasterChef. Yeah, I'm talking about Mr. Italiano himself. You see, aside from tossing food into the trash and making some very damaging remarks, Joe has come under the scanner for being more than just a jerk. In one of the MasterChef Italia episodes, Joe made a surprising detour to a beauty salon nestled in Milan's Chinatown, operated by two Chinese ladies.
Come ti chiami?
Gina.
Gina. Perché non Graziella?
Throughout his visit, he repeatedly tried to correct their speech.
Lei di Roma?
Ere. Roma.
Roma, no.
Way to make someone uncomfortable. He then inquired if they'd ever dated Italian guys before.
Io personalmente che gli uomini cinesi hanno un po' di difetti a volte.
He basically hinted that Chinese guys might have, some shortcomings in, certain areas of expertise. Catch my drift?
Sono non adeguati in certe situazioni.
He even wondered aloud what Chinese folks do when someone passes away because he'd never come across a deceased Chinese person before.
Concetto fare un mausoleo per dire che tu pensi tanto di se stesso, secondo me. Perché
Joe, you build a mausoleum, you narcissistic freak, but in some cultures, they burn their dead. Though, in that case, they'd build a columbarium. Fun fact for the day.
uno è morto, lo bruci fuori, finito il discorso e fai altri cinesi, no?
But, I mean, God, was that embarrassing to watch or what? Okay, Joe, if you want to believe that. As we await the next season, we can look forward to more dishes that will amaze, delight, and sometimes astonish us. But who, according to you, is the most clumsiest chef on MasterChef? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. And if you want to watch something crazier, then make sure to check out the next video right here. It's even crazier.